Hello and welcome to the First Deal Diaries podcast. I am your host, Danielle Saunders, and I am here today with Dan Norcross. Dan, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thank you. Very good. Thanks, Danielle. Yeah, really good.
So we've just been having a little bit of a catch up and it sounds like you're really busy now. But first of all, let's find out a bit more about you. I believe you've had a 25-year career in engineering. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was in the automotive industry for the majority of my career. I had 5 years with Vauxhalls and General Motors as an engineer. I then went into Jaguar Land Rover. I was there for 20 years with different international assignments. I've worked in Slovakia, I've worked in India. I had 20 years. I finished off there as an engineering manager. I ran the complete installation of a complete new paint shop as a facilities manager in Nitra in Slovakia, which was a 2-year project. So that was pretty good. I left there in 2021. I started with a franchise for renovations. So I took a voluntary redundancy and did a renovation franchise for a short period of time. We were working in Cheshire at the time, but we didn't need to be based there because I was tied to the area for a job previously. But now I had this franchise, I could move anywhere. So we decided to move to Cornwall. So after 3 months of running the franchise in Cheshire, we up sticks, moved to Cornwall, started looking around for some properties and ended up buying a butcher's and pasty shop as well. So I've been a butcher and my wife's been crimping pasties for 12 months or whatever. That wasn't really paying the bills. We were just scraping by. So I went back into engineering again in Falmouth, got a job back up in Liverpool again in IAC as engineering and maintenance manager. And then I've had a year in the Netherlands working in the aerospace industry for GKN as head of manufacturing engineering. And then I came back to the UK last year working for a principal contractor at Bentley Motors as a site lead for QSC. So, and then as of last week, I am now full-time property. I handed him a notice in 4 weeks ago and I finished the end of September. So,
well, congratulations. It's an exciting time for you then. So
yeah, thank you.
Was about 12 months ago then, is that right, that you decided something had to change, you wanted to do property?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I came back from the Netherlands in September last year, and I started doing a few online courses, different things. And then at the end of October, I did a course, and it really changed the way that I saw it and wanted to get involved. So that was with Property Abundance. I did a 3-day complete property millionaire masterclass, it's called, and that was fantastic. And then I signed up with those guys for 12-month mentorship and coaching programs. So so that was the end of October when I really got started. Before that, I was just dabbling around with bits of training and stuff like that.
Sure. So did you know that you wanted to do a rent-to-rent deal, or was it just you saw a gap in the market?
Yeah, so rent to rent, that's one of the strategies that Chris and Sam sort of recommend as a start off because it's low for capital investment. It's an easy startup, and it's a good way of replacing your income effectively to get cash flow from day one, sort of thing. So that was why I chose that strategy to focus on initially.
Okay, and you said that you spotted a gap in the contractor market. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so I'd been on the program for about 3 months or 4 months, something like that. In January this year, there was a post I saw on Facebook. I've joined lots of property groups on Facebook and things, and I saw a post that was asking for accommodation for around 600 people for 2 years for a massive project that was going on, development project at Shotton Paper Mill. So I'd done all my education, I'd done all my hotspot analysis and deal analysis on, I knew the areas that were good to target, although this opened up a whole new avenue for me here, really. So I looked at 2, 3, 4-bedroom properties around Chester and North Wales area. And and I've basically since March had those properties filled with contractors, like 7 days a week.
So this is an opportunity you saw a demand in the North Wales and Chester area,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then
Yeah,
you went and sourced those properties specifically to supply that demand.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so those were the properties. Who owned them, and how did you do that deal?
So the owners, well, three of them were through an agent. So I'd built a good relationship with agents and
Is that estate agents or?
estate agent. Yeah, yeah, letting agents. And they actually now, if they get a property, they ring me and ask me first. I'm sort of their go-to person for property. So if they find anything that where the landlord is willing to do a company let, then they will give me a call before it goes on the market. So I've built up a really good relationship with those guys. The others, I actually was sitting next to a deal sourcer in a networking event at Property and Poppadoms, and he's told me that he had three properties in Chester, which were new builds, three two-bed properties, large bedrooms, so you could get two singles in each one, so I could get four contractors in each property. So I just said that evening I'd have them, transferred him the sourcing fee, and then went and looked at them the next day. And then while I was there, he said he had another property as well, a three bed. So I had that as well. So I got four in Chester and then three in North Wales around the Shotton and Connors Quay area.
Wow, so you acted really quickly on those. How did your mindset? What was your mindset at the time? Were you worried, nervous, excited?
Excited, yeah, yeah. I wasn't worried at all because, as I say, I knew the demand was there and I'd done all the calculations that they were going to be profitable, so I wasn't really worried. The ones in the North Wales ones are not really suitable for serviced accommodation, so I've got those on a 2-year lease, which is to tie in with the actual project that's going on at Shotton. And then the Chester ones would also be suitable for serviced accommodation, so I signed up for a 3-year lease on those.
All right. Well, let's get down to some nitty gritty. Can you talk me through some of the numbers on those deals?
Yeah, sure. So I'll take one of the Chester ones as an example. So the two bed in Chester, it was I got joint venture partnerships for the four in Chester. Um, I presented what I've just told you about these contractors and the gap in the market at one of my mentorship days with the coaching program that I'm on. And I had quite a few people come and see me after I'd presented it saying, "Oh, I'd really like to invest. If you get any properties, let me know." So that was great. So I've got four people who are on our mentorship program who invested as joint venture partners. Three of them for the two beds gave me £10,000, and the one for the three bed it needed a bit more furniture, so that was £11,000. So I got £41,000 from other people on my mentorship program. I'll take a £10,000 deal as an example. So the £10,000 was basically 2,500 for the sourcing fee. It was supposed to be 3,000, but because I had four, he knocked it down by a couple of grand, gave me 500 off each. 1250 for the rent, 1250 for the deposit, so that's 5,000, and then another 5,000 for the setup for all the furniture and all the plates, cutlery, everything you need for an SA setup. And these were complete new builds, so they didn't even have blinds, they didn't have light fittings, anything. They were just a blank canvas, so we started from scratch on those.
And how quickly did you get that through on the legals? How quickly was it signed over?
I signed over relatively quickly in about a week. We got everything signed up, all the paperwork. So those four are through a company, and then the other three were through a letting agent, but they're the acting agents for the landlords, effectively.
Okay,
Yeah, but they
excellent.
were all really quickly. We just got the company let agreement signed up and approval from the landlords to do a rent to rent, because obviously it has to be allowed to do it. And we just got going. So it was a busy month end of Feb, last week in February, and the first 3 weeks in March. We were frantically trying to get all the furniture in and get everything set up. So we spent many
Did you
hours.
buy the furniture or lease it?
Yeah, we bought it. Yeah, yeah. So I got it from the investors, as I say. We had that 5,000 pot for each of the properties, so we were able to buy that outright, and then so I found I was actually recommended. The agents that I was working with recommended a company called Bennett's Interiors, and they were fantastic. To be honest, they supply most of the North Wales council houses, so they've got access to a lot of uh, furniture very quickly. So yeah, they were fantastic. They anything flat packed, they brought it in flat packed and built it all on site for me, and we got everything set up in like 3 or 4 weeks in 7 properties. So
Fantastic. And just for people who are perhaps starting out and listening to this, can you just explain there? You said you had to get permission from the landlord to do rent to rent. Are there any
yes,
sort of specific complications there that people should be aware of?
yeah. So if the property's mortgaged, then there's some mortgage companies that don't allow company lets or to have serviced accommodation in there. So there are specific if the property's owned outright, then it's the landlord's decision, really. But if it's mortgaged, then the mortgage company can have something to say about it. And there's also, if it's a leasehold, then there could be conditions in the head lease that say you're not allowed to use it for serviced accommodation as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that sounds amazing. But did you hit any challenges along the way?
I did have one challenge, yeah. So I had before we got the contractors in, just to pay the rent, I started off with some of the online travel agents like Airbnb and Booking.com. The second booking in one of the properties was a Flintshire Child Services booking, and we had a couple of 12-year-old twins that were a bit of a tearaways with their social workers, and they had the police called out 6 times in that week when they stayed. I only found out about it on their last night, so I went round to see them just to check. The neighbours had complained. They said they were smashing the place up and everything, and I went to have a look, and they hadn't. They'd damaged the Wi-Fi router, and the back had come off the remote control. That was the worst of the damage. So they hadn't caused any damage. They just caused a bit of disruption to the neighbours. So that was so I actually got evicted from that property because the landlord was not very happy, obviously, which you could agree with. I probably had a case to fight it, but I thought, choose your battles. It's not worth it. But actually, the day I found out, I'd just secured a 9-month booking for that property with a contractor as well. So it was
Oh,
really, I'd lost about, sorry, 6-month booking it was. It was about £19,000 worth of revenue potential that I missed out on because of that
wow.
one incident.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you say, you win some, you lose some, don't you, in this game?
Yeah,
So
definitely, yeah.
talking about those numbers then, you said talking about the revenue, how much are these making you each month, these first few deals?
So the 6 that I've got now bring in just over 20,000 a month from the contractor market. So some of them I've gone through an agency. So that post that I originally saw on Facebook was through an agent who specifically looks for contractor accommodation for contractors, and then they charge a percentage or whatever. So I get around just over £100 a night for a 2-bed with 4 people in. So it's about £25 per person per night, or just a bit more. And I actually got, so the other properties, or some of the other properties, I've currently got 4 which are direct to the contract companies themselves. 1 week before we got the contractors in one of our properties, we had a company stay there, and they reached out to me to see if I had any more properties because they had more people come in. They're based in the Czech Republic, and they've now got, as I say, 4 of our properties, but I can charge more to them because they don't have the markup from the agency, so I get £115 a night from those.
Wow.
So that's just over 3,500 a month in revenue on those 4 properties, and then about 3,000 on the other 2 properties at the moment. Oh no, one of them's 3,900, the 3-bed, because there's 5 people in there because it's 2 twins and a single. So
Okay,
I get
wow. So
3,900 on that one.
there's some big numbers there for some people. That would be a life-changing deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was for me, really, to be honest. Yeah, it has been for me. And that's where, yeah.
Amazing. When did you know, at what point was it that you knew that this was going to work, that property was going to be your future?
When I did the training, when I did that initial 3-day training course and signed up, I had no sort of reservations to signing up or anything. I knew this is what I wanted to do, and I knew I was going to be successful at it. I just had a feeling. I just knew this was the thing for me, really.
Brilliant. Okay. So you did those first few deals, you got those up and running. I think did you say it was all going within about a month? What happened next? What
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
do next?
So we got the contractor bookings. I say we got the first contractor bookings in the middle of March. So that was like 3 weeks after taking on the properties, and then gradually started to fill them with contractors. What do you mean? What did I do next? Like other deals,
Yeah,
or
did you move on rapidly to your next deal, or did it take a little while?
it took a little while. So this was back in February, March. What I wanted to do was to make sure I had all the systems and processes set up and in place before I moved on to anything else, really. So I've got all the channel managers and the all the online travel agency accounts and things like that set up. I made sure I had a good cleaning team in place, a good maintenance person in place, and I've also got myself a virtual assistant that's based in Nigeria. Jennifer, she's absolutely fantastic. I would recommend to anyone, if you're going to do this and want to step back away from the business, you need some support. Otherwise, you get stuck into the details. But Jennifer, for me, handles all my guest communications, reviews. She's basically a co-host on the online travel agency sites. She's also got access to my, what do you call it, the channel manager. She does invoices for me. She coordinates with the cleaning and maintenance teams. So it's effectively now pretty much a hands off. I do get involved occasionally. I get the odd message or whatever saying, "Oh, this has been damaged. Can you help with this?" or whatever from the agents. But that's generally it. Other than that, I don't really get involved in those properties. They just bring in the profits for us.
Okay, and what are you doing now? I hear you're up to some amazing deals.
Yeah, so I've started. So back in, I think it was April. So a month after I got started on the rent to rents, I was at a networking event and there was a guy presenting there about title splits. And had on, at the end of it, he'd made, I think he'd got 3 million's worth of property with £50,000 investment from the start on 3 properties. And I thought, well, this is good now because I've got the cash flow coming in. So once my investors are paid back, then I should be in a good position with those properties. But I thought I want to start building equity now and long term, like I want to start building like generational wealth for the family and stuff like that, really. And so getting equity in properties is my next step. So I've got 2 title split deals that I'm doing now through the support of Dan, who was the guy that was presenting. So I'm using him as a deal sourcer for me as well, really. So he's actually found these deals and then passed them on to me because I've signed up to his accountability program as well. They are, yeah, one's a block of 6 flats in Devon, which I basically just doing a title split on it. It's already got split utilities, doesn't need any refurb. It's literally a paperwork exercise to get the leaseholds drawn up and the drawings done. So the architects have done all those. The leasehold contracts are being prepared now. Hoping to exchange on that one in the next couple of weeks. That's
Are you still
500,000.
using joint ventures on this or private investors?
Yeah, it's a joint venture partnership. So what I've agreed, I was presenting my investor pack to my coach and mentor, and he was blown away by it and said he'd like to invest himself. So he invested up to £120,000. He was going to give me on that project. So yeah, did all right with that one. It was quite a convincing presentation. So yeah, what he's agreed to is, so he's going to lend me up to £120,000 for as long as it takes. If we do the deal within 6 months and he gets all of his money back, then his 40% share that he's currently got in the business reduces to 20%. So I would effectively own 80% of the equity and the rental income after that. If it takes more than 6 months or he leaves some money in, up to 35,000, then he keeps the 40%. So we've structured it in like a stepped phase approach to that. And I've done the same with the other title split deal as well.
So it sounds to me like you have, that saying, it's not how, but who. You've really tapped into a network of sources and other business people and investors, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. I think networking has been really valuable to me. I've got, I'm on lots of WhatsApp groups now with different people. If I ever need anything in the Northwest, I can just reach out to a couple of groups and someone will recommend somebody to do something, if it's, I forgot to mention about gardeners as well. We got the company that does the furniture. I've also got a gardening branch as well. So they do all the gardening. They're really competitive on price. I pay £90 a month to do 6 gardens. So it's
Wow.
and they're doing some of those in the summer, like 2 or 3 times a month. So it's an
That's
absolute
really good.
bargain. Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. So if you were doing that first deal again, is there anything you would have done differently?
Would I have done anything differently? Probably not really. I was told at the time you're absolutely crazy getting 7 at once, but I think it just added to the the excitement and the challenge of it, really. Um, I would have liked to have had more time because it took 4 weeks because both myself and my wife were working full time. So we were trying to do all this just in the evenings and weekends. So I didn't have a lot of time. So I'd have probably taken a holiday. I think if it was to change anything, yeah, I'd probably have taken a holiday from work so I could have got it done quicker.
And if somebody listening today was looking at starting their own rent-to-rent business, have you got any advice for them?
Yes, I have. Basically, not all properties work for rent to rents. You need to do your due diligence. You need to do a deal analysis. You need to understand the area, the occupancy rates, the average daily rate, and understand. Unless you've got a load of contractors that you can just get it rented out to. If it's going to be
Sure.
purely on serviced accommodation, then make sure you do your numbers. So I would say don't just try and do it on your own. I'd get a coach or a mentor that's been there and done it. They've made the mistakes. If you make a mistake with it, it can be very costly. It's expensive to get a coach or a mentor, but it's definitely worth it. It'll pay back 10 times over. So it's
Excellent. I agree. I think that's good advice. So we're going to go into just a bit of fun now with some quick fire questions. Are you ready?
yes, sure, fire away.
One word to describe that first deal.
Fantastic.
Buy to let or flip?
Flip.
Joint venture or solo?
Joint venture.
Property mentor, yes or no?
Definitely yes.
Do you have a go-to property podcast?
The Property Podcast with Rob and Rob. Yeah.
I know, yeah, very good, very good. Your biggest fear when you started out?
Not having any money.
Mm. Do you have a dream location you'd like to own a property in?
The Scottish Highlands, because I'm buying one there.
Brilliant. Do you have a phrase you use most when you're doing a deal?
Win-win. Everyone's a
Win-win.
winner in my deals, yeah.
Absolutely. Excellent. And if somebody deposited £100,000 interest-free into your bank account, what would you do with it?
I would get another title split deal on the go, recycle the money, and then use it again and again and again.
And again, amazing. So, Regal Relocations is the name of your business. What's the plan going forward? You're just going to keep doing title splits?
So I've did title splits. I've got, 2 of those. I've got a purchase lease option on the go as well. I've got the legal teams working on drafting up the lease option agreement for that, which is for a 9-bedroom hotel in Scotland. I've just secured a BRR project. I signed up from Property Magic Live a couple of weeks ago. I signed up to sell my house quickly. I got the Chester area franchise. And within 4 days of signing up, I had my first lead. And within another day, I'd viewed the property, paid a deposit. Within another week, we'd paid the full deposit and exchanged contracts. So sell my house quickly really does work, and we do buy houses quickly. So Lee and his team there, fantastic. And then I'm looking at a hotel in Blackpool tomorrow as a rent-to-rent deal as well. That'll be added to my rent-to-rent portfolio, if that's okay. So I'm looking for investors at the moment. I need 36,000 to do that. I've already had one person commit 12,000 to it. And I'm looking for another couple of investors that might want to put 12,000 or 24,000 towards it. So I had a meeting with an investor.
I think it's really inspiring how you're just national with the deals you do. You kind of look for the deal, know where the deal is, don't you? It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So how can people connect with you? What are your social media tags?
I've got, Dan Norcross on Facebook. It's got a picture of me that I'd taken by a headshot specialist at at one of the networking event in Nottingham. I've got Instagram, Dan Norcross. I think it's dan.norcross.10 is my Facebook tag. And then LinkedIn, Dan Norcross, INGMIMECI MIOD. That's my name on LinkedIn. And I'm on TikTok as well, but I've not got a lot on there, to be honest. It's not really worth looking at that at the moment. But I've got about 7,000 followers on TikTok as well. So.
I want to see something on there when you start doing all these amazing title splits.
Yeah.
Excellent. So one final question for you, Dan. Was your first deal really a deal?
Oh, yes, it was a deal, yes.
Excellent stuff. Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for your time. We only met a few weeks ago at Property Magic Live for the first time, so it's been delightful to get to know you more, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Danielle.
So if you have enjoyed today listening to this podcast and you've got some value from it, please connect with me and Dan, perhaps leave us a review. And if you too would like to be a guest on this podcast, then drop me a message. Hope to speak to you all again soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to First Deal Diaries. This episode is brought to you by Salty Air Design, where story meets design and brands breathe deep. See you next time for another First Deal story.